In this video, we're going to go through on Catholic High School Preliminary Examination 2024, Primary 6 Math Paper 1. So let's get started on the first question. Which of the following is the same as 50 and 80 centimeters? Okay, so we know that there is meters and there's centimeters over here. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Okay, so 50, 80 is equal to, right, 5,000 centimeters plus 80 centimeters. Okay, not 90, 80, right? So we know 80 centimeters is the correct one. So what is 5,000 centimeters, right? So if 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter, then 5,000 centimeters is equal to 5,000, right? 5,000, 5,000 divided by 100, and this will be 50 meters. So this will then become equals to 50 meters, 80 centimeter. So that means the answer to this is option number 4. Okay, let's move on to question number 2. How many sevens are there in 2, 4 out of 7? So sevens is basically 1 out of 7. Okay, so okay, with this I think the best way is to just say make this into an improper fraction, right? So this is that one. Whoops, step 1, make this into an improper fraction. So 2 out of 4 is 7, 2, right? And then you have 4 out of 7. Okay. So to make this into an improper fraction, you basically need to say 2 times 7 plus 4 out of 7. Okay. In this example over here. So let me draw the lines to make it into a fraction. Okay. So what do you think is 2 times 7 equal plus 4? Okay. So, oops. If you were to say 18, then you're right. Okay, so 2 times 7 is 14 plus 4. This will give us 18 out of 7. Okay, so let me just put this. Then step 2 is basically the numerator. Step 2, uh, numerator is the answer. So that means 18 over here is the answer. So option number 3. Ta-dun. Okay, there we go. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, all right. Question number 3. What is the possible volume of hot water that fills a disposable cup completely? So water bottle, your normal water bottle over here, right, contains around 500 milliliters. So that means, or 500 centimeter and then cube. So that means this will be the range around. So closest to 500 centimeter cube, okay, is in this case for this is 320 centimeter cube, okay, which is this 320 centimeter cube. Okay, that's it. Let's move on to question number 4. Which of the following is the net of the cube? So for net of cubes, you just generally want to remember the different nets are, to be honest. So in all honesty, if you remember this, then yeah, option number 2 is the correct answer to this. Okay, so let's move on to question number 5. Which two lines are perpendicular to each other? So I will say use a what do you call this, a ruler. Okay, so using a ruler you can definitely find which one is the perpendicular line. So using a ruler over here, you can actually see which one is perpendicular. So over here, A, B is not, this is not. Okay, so let me put this the other side. I shortened this ruler so it's like kind of easier. I believe this is also um, true to size, kind of. Okay, let's see. Is AB perpendicular, right? Need to zoom in quite a bit, right? Yeah, looks like it actually, right? Yeah, AB and BC. See this? No. Okay, so in this case, AB and what do you call this? ABC is perpendicular, which is amazing, right? So use ruler, corner to measure each angle to see if they are 90 degrees. Okay, that's the simplest way to do it lah. Okay, so that means A, B, B, C, which is option number 1. Okay, let's move on to question number 6. What is the mass of the packet of flour over here? So if you were to zoom it in, okay, I'm going to use a line over here, red line, to just indicate where it's pointing to, which is this one. Okay, so we have how many gaps? Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have, I would say, 5 big gaps, right? Before, which is 250. So one big gap is equal to 250 divided by 5. Okay, it's a bit small. This will give us 50, right? So this is in the one big gap. So 750, 800, 850. Okay, so that means the answer is 3 over here. Okay, so arrow pointing after 750 plus 2 big gaps, which is equal to 750 plus 2 big gaps times 50, which is 850 grams. There you go. So that's the answer. Option number 3 for question number 6. Let's move on to question number 7. Which of the following decimal is the smallest? Oh, they put the zeros for me. Okay, so I think this one don't have any zeros, so you need to put the zero. So, put all numbers in the same decimal place. Okay, so now you see all the different decimal place. So which one is the smallest? So you can see option number 3 lah, obviously. Okay, so let's move on to question number 8. Question number 8, the line graph shows the amount of rainfall over 5 months. The amount of rainfall is not shown on the scale. Okay, so which month to the next was the increase in the rainfall the greatest? Okay, so we actually can just put the different, right? So we have 1, 2, so we just put here as assume one gap is 1. Okay, I think that's the easiest. So for January, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we have 6, so this is 6. Okay, 6. Then for February, this is 5, 10. This is before 15, this is 14. Okay, so from 6 to 14, it's basically around, oops, so 6 to 14 is around 8. So the increase is 8 plus 8 over here. Okay, let me just put like that or like this. Sure, looks good to me. All right, so this one will be 15, 16, 17, 18. So this is 18. Right, and then for April, this should be 4. Okay, and then for May, this is 11. So okay, so this one is 11. Right, 5, 10, 11. Okay, 11. So from 6 to 14 is 8, and then 14 to 18 is 4. Okay, can I move this? Yes. And then from March to April is minus 14. Damn, hot weather. Okay, and then lastly, from April to May is 7. Okay, so the answer to this is from January to February over here. Okay, so option number 1. Okay, let's move on to question number 9. Charles and Danny started running a marathon at 5:20 a.m. Charles was 20 minutes slower than Danny. He completed the marathon at 9:05. How long did Charles take to complete the marathon? Okay, so we know that Danny, right, completed at 9:05 a.m. Okay, and then that means for Charles, right, Charles. So okay, Danny completed 9:05. That means Danny took time is equal to 5:20 a.m. to 9:05 a.m., which is basically 4 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, no, 5:20 to 9:05 is not. It's 45. Okay, 3 hours and 45 minutes. Okay, so if I were to break this down from 5:20, yeah, so let me just draw a line so it's easier to see as well. Okay, so from 5:20 to 9:05, so 5 5:20 a.m. Okay, so 40 minutes, like I'm going to put a line over here. So to 9:05, I'll just put here as 6 a.m. Okay, 6. So that means this will take me 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Okay, and then 6 a.m. to 9:05. Okay, 9, wait, 9:05 will take me 3 hours. 3 hours and 5 minutes. Okay, so, okay, great. So the need time is 12:45. So Charles is 20 minutes slow. Charles' time is equal to 3 hours 45 minutes plus 20 minutes. Okay, and this will give us 4 hour and 5 minutes. So the answer to this is option number 2. Here you go. Okay, so that's it. Let's move on to number 10. In the school, the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls is 1 is to 2. The pie chart shows the different way boys and girls go to school. What's the ratio of number of boys who walk to school to the number of girls who walk to school? Okay, so over here we have 10 and 1 is to 2, right? So boys is to girls, which is basically 1 is to 2. So I'll just convert. So convert to 100 as easier to calculate. Okay, so I'm going to make this small. So that means convert. So multiply times 100 as easier to calculate. Okay, so with this, that means 2 is 100 and then 200. Okay, pretty straightforward in this case over here. Okay, so now in this boys, we have one uh, boys who walk. Right, boys walk is equal to 100 times 1 over 4, which is 25. Okay, then girls walk is equal to 200 times 20%, which is basically 40 people. So girls walk is 200. So boys walk is to girls walk. That means boys walk is 25, girls walk is 40, right? So we divide by 5. Okay, so divide by 5. Divide by 5 for each of this. So that means 5, whoops, make it a little bit bigger, right? In this case, 25 divided by 5 and 40 divided by 5. What do you think the answer is? Okay, so boys walk to girls walk, 25 will be 5, and then girls will be 8. Whoops. The answer is 5 is to 8, which means this is option number 4 for question number 10. Okay, all right, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. Question 11. In the figure, ABCD is a square. Right? ABCD is a square. AD is equal to DF. So AD is equal to DF. Right? So that means this is a isosceles triangle. So ADF is 58 degrees. Find B, E, and F. For BF, the gonna draw a red line to see what's this. Okay, so in this case over here, we know that this is an isosceles triangle. So how we're going to solve this is basically if we can get this angle over here, so AEB, then we are able to get this DEF. So with this, we need to get these two angles, right? So first, I think we can get this angle over here, right, which is this one, right? ABE, right? So angle, right? Angle ABE, abs. ABE is basically half a right angle, right? Which is basically half times 90, which is equal to 45 degrees. Okay, so we have 45 degrees. The next one is how do we get this angle over here? So we know that this is a square, so we know that this angle is a 90-degree angle, and we know that this AFD is an isosceles triangle. Okay, so that means we can get this angle. Let me just put no. So let me put this over here. We can get this angle, right? So how do we get this angle? Is basically angle DAF, right? Angle DAF is equal to 180 minus 58, and then we divide by 2. Okay, in this case, right? So 180 minus 58 is equal to 122 divided by 2. This will be 61. Oh, I used the calculator. Okay, sorry. But if you manually calculate, right, because we don't use calculator, so 180 minus 50 is 122 divided by 2 is 61 degrees. Okay, all right. Okay, so DAF is 61 degrees. So I'm gonna copy this here and then paste it over here, right? 61 degrees. So now we can get this little one, which is I'm gonna put this as this. Okay, so that means angle. This is what BAE is equal to 90 minus 61, and this will give us 29 degrees. Okay, over here. So I'm gonna put here as 29. Okay, I think we can get what do you call this? BEF. Okay, so we can get AEB or BEA. BEA, right? So angle BEA is equal to 180 minus 29 minus 45. So basically 180 minus 29 is 180 minus 45 instead would be 90 will be 135. Okay, minus 29. Okay, this will be 106. Okay, 35 minus 29 degrees. Okay, and then that means angle BEF, okay, is equal to 180 minus 106, and this will give us 74 degrees. Okay, so I see over here. Ooh. Okay, so the answer this is option number 2. Okay, there you go. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, question number 12. Ivan had 30 fewer sheets than Peggy at first. After he gave some of his sweets to Peggy, he was left with 28 sweets. Peggy had 3 times as many sweets as Ivan. How many sweets did Ivan give to Peggy? Okay, so basically, we know that Peggy in the end has 3 units, 3 times, right? And Ivan in the end has 1 unit. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, we also know that uh, Ivan was left 28 28 sweets. Okay, so that means 1 unit is 28. Okay, and then we want to get a total, so total in the end is equal to 1 plus 3 equal to 4 units. Okay, so 1 unit is 28. So 4 units is equal to yeah, basically I would say 4 times 28. Okay, so if you calculate this, it will be 112. Okay, so now we know 4 units is 112. We know that in that's the total, right? So if I were to draw a quick model, so Ivan and then Peggy, right? So why? Okay, so Ivan had 30 fewer than Peggy. Oops. So just gonna draw this. Oops. Over here. Okay. So Peggy and Ivan is the same, but it's just Peggy has 40 more. Okay. So in this case, I'm gonna just say this is 40. Right. So 40 more, and together they had 112. Okay, I'm gonna boop. This is 1112. Okay, so 112. So this is at first. At first, draw very small. So at first, this is what it looks like. Okay, so that means for that, Ivan is equal to 112 minus 40, and then we divide by 2. Okay, Ivan at first, okay, divided by 2 with 2. Okay, so 112 minus 40. Is it 40 or 30? Sorry, it should be 30. Okay, so minus 30. 1 divided by 30, this is 82, right? And then divided by 2, this will give us 41. Okay, so Ivan at first got 41, right? And then Ivan left is 28. So Ivan gave equal to 41 minus 28. Okay, and this will give us 13. Okay, so the answer to this is option number 1. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 13. So figure 1 shows a rectangular paper. It is folded along the dotted line AB to form the figure 2. That's what I see over here. Okay, so which of the following statement is true? C plus D is equal to 90 degrees. Then statement B, the area of figure 1 is less than the area of figure 2. And statement C, so figure 1 and figure 2 have at least a line of symmetry. Okay, so in this over here, so I think C is the very easy one to do. Okay, line of symmetry. So if I were to do the line of symmetry, so C actually has a line of symmetry. I'm going to write here line of symmetry. Symmetry. And then I think for A, the line of symmetry is already given. Okay, so that means for C, it is true. Okay, bracket true for statement C over here. Okay, so now what about statement B? So for statement B over here, when you fold stuff, basically you have a what do you call this? You have smaller area. So this is false. Okay, over here. All right. So the next one. Okay, C over here. Basically C is also the same as this. Wait, so C is also this, right? C. And then we know that the right angle here, there is a right angle in this case over here, right? So now is C and D is equal to 90? True, right? Because in this case, so angle C plus angle D is equal to 180 minus 90, and that means this both will be 90 degrees. So that means this is true over here. So that means statement A and C, which is option number 3 in this case. All right. Okay, so question 14. It says here the figure is made of two identical quarter circle and a and a square. The length of the square is 7 centimeter. What's the figure of the what's the parameter of the figure? Okay, so that means this one is also 7 centimeters. Okay, right, 7 centimeters. Okay, so that means this is also 7 centimeters. Okay. Okay, so from here, I think we can gather on what we need to do. So for this, basically, 2 quarter circle perimeter is equal to 1 circle perimeter. Okay, I think that's pretty straightforward, which is basically half times. So 2 pi r2 times pi times radius. Okay, so in this case, the radius is 7 centimeters. So I also put that radius is equal to 7 centimeters. Okay, so now we have 2 pi over here. So that means this will then become half times 2 times pi. Pi is 22 out of 7 times radius. Oops, 7 times radius, 7 as well. So half times 2 is gone. 22, 7 is gone. So it's 22 centimeters. Parameter. Okay, so now with that, the total parameter. Okay, so total parameter is equal to 7 times 4 plus 22. This will give us 28 plus 22, this will give us 50 centimeter. So that's the parameter, which is option number 2. Okay, let's move to the last question. Mrs. Lim bought some pears and oranges and packed them into 2 bags. 3/4 of the fruits were in bag A and the rest in bag B. 4/9 of the fruits in bag A were pears, half of the fruits bought were oranges. What fraction of the fruits in the bag B were pears? So first, I want always to convert the fractions into units lah. So um, get lowest common multiple of 4 times 4 and 9, right? In this case, it will be 36, roughly. Okay, so let's total fruits be 36 units. Okay, so in this case, for bag A, right, is equal to 3 of 4 times 36 units is equal to 4 divided by 36 9, and times 4 is 12. So, yeah, times 3 is 27 units. So bag B is equal to 36 minus 27 units. This will give us 9 units. Okay, so we got that down. 4 of the fruits are pears. So 4/9 of the bag A. So bag A pears is equal to 4 out of 9 of the total, which is times 27 units of bag A, which is equal to 12 units. Okay, and half of the fruits bought were oranges. So total oranges is equal to half times 36, okay, which is basically 18 units. So total pairs is the same. You can just say half or so, but same thing lah. 36 units minus 18 units. Okay, it's equal to 18 units. Okay. Now, what fraction of the fruits in bag B or pear? So bag B pears is equal to total pears minus bag A pears, which is in this case, let me just copy this, right? Okay, so that means total pairs is equal to 18 units minus bag A pairs is how many? 12 units, which is in this case equal to 6 units. So fraction of bag B pairs is equal to, right, bag B pairs over total bag B, right? Just put bag B lah. Okay, right? And that is equal to 6 out of 9. And if we simplify it, this will be 2 out of 3. So that means this is option number 4 in this case over here. Okay, so that's about it. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what other things you want me to show you next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.